All right, Meghna, let's move on, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. There's another fantastic session coming your way. In fact, in today's interconnected world, the concept of brand building has evolved way beyond the traditional marketing strategies that we have always seen. In fact, at the very heart of this evolution lies the power of a community, a dynamic force that has the potential to propel brands to new heights of innovation and global recognition.
Absolutely, and as we gather to delve into the discussion on building innovative global brands through the power of community, we recognize that community engagement is not merely a strategy, but it's a fundamental ethos. It is about fostering authentic connections, empowering voices, and co-creating experiences that resonate deeply with audiences worldwide.
Absolutely. In fact, to moderate this session, we'd like to invite up on stage Vikram, the media consultant, presenter, of course, you would have seen him present earlier in the day as well, news anchor with ET Now. He will be in conversation with Akis Evangelidis. He is the co-founder of Nothing. Over to you, gentlemen.
Great to have you.
Awesome to be here.
We have very limited time, so I'm going to go straight into it. What is it like to set up a brand and enter 30 markets just 3 years ago when you're in the midst of a pandemic and you do this launch? I can't imagine what it can be like, but in an extremely busy industry, you're talking about the tech industry, I don't know. When you enter a market like India, there is so much competition. How do you even go about it? What did you think differently that made you think, yes, this is the time we're going to do it?
So yeah, I mean, to be frank, we've been in the industry for the longest period of time now, and at the time, I guess, when we started Nothing, we felt a bit kind of uninspired by what the industry had to offer. You know, we grew up with the launch of the iPhone, the iPod, you know, all those kind of fantastic products that got us super excited. But in the last few years, sort of, you know, that mood changed a bit. So yeah, we wanted to start Nothing, trying to bring that fun back onto tech. It was in the middle of the pandemic, but actually this kind of almost turned into a strength, because at the end of the day, we're able to kind of work all over the world. We're able to kind of really focus on launching the brand across kind of social media, where that's pretty much what people were doing at the time, just spending time on social media. So we really kind of turned this into our own strength. And yeah, it helped really kind of fast track the launch. You know, from the get-go, we had a huge engagement online. We had early on a lot of like big tech investors joining the journey. We had Tony Fadell, the inventor of the iPod, coming as a seed investor, Steve Hoffman, the founder of Reddit, and so on. And yeah, before even we launched a product, we raised our Series A with Google Ventures, and we brought our first product to market. It was summer 2021. Still in the pandemic, and yeah, it turned out to be a massive buzz online. We sold over 500,000 products at the time. Our whole thing, we entered the market by really focusing on design differentiation, so it was very something innovative. We used kind of semi-transparent approach, and that was enough to kind of get things going. We then raised more money and launched our first smartphone, then our second one last year, and so on, and the journey keeps on.
But you started with the year one. You started with an audio product, and then you decided to do the phone, the smartphone.
Exactly.
The idea was always to go with smartphones, but you decided to take this route. Why? And for those of you who are not familiar with the product, are you carrying your phone with you?
Yeah.
Why don't you show it to them, for those of us who haven't seen a Nothing phone just yet?
Yeah, this is the phone 2. So you have this kind of semi-transparent design. We have a whole kind of interface at the back, kind of to minimize your screen interaction. And this kind of feeds also into the software, in which a lot of work and thought process has gone into it in the way we're kind of interacting with our smartphones. But yeah, so we started with I mean, hardware is hard by definition. So, you know, we couldn't go straight into smartphones. You know, you need to build the team, you need to build the supply chain, and so on. So for us, we saw the opportunity at the time. The true wireless earbuds market was kind of growing in an exponential way. Quite mature from a category standpoint, you know, so the technology was there, the supply chain was there. Yet a very interesting product to innovate from a design standpoint, because, you know, you kind of carry those things in your ears all day, so quite an important part of the purchase decision, the design. So we felt it was just the right product to kind of start with, to introduce our kind of design identity, yet confident that we could deliver on a great product. And following that, build stronger team capabilities, bigger teams, engineering, software, hardware, to then kind of, one, first raise more money once we've successfully launched A1, and two, start developing our first smartphone.
But in a very busy market, you need to create key differentiators, and they need to be really strong. You're talking about 1.2 billion smartphones being sold in the world, and more than 10% of them are sold in India. So India definitely would be a big market for you. But
yeah.
How do you create a differentiator when the go-to products for most people are Apple and Samsung?
I mean, you said like the pie is huge, 1.2 billion units. So you definitely have a niche there that, was a bit like us. When we started nothing, we looked at ourselves as end users. We weren't exciting. We're looking for something fresh, something that would kind of stand out. And we're confident that there would be more people like us. So while, the pie is huge, definitely dominated by the big brands of this world, we definitely saw an opportunity. And we kind of, as we start getting with like A1, then Phone 1, we start off seeing more and more people kind of, onboarding the journey of nothing, buying more our products more and more, to the point where last quarter we crossed 2 million nothing products sold to date. And India, definitely a big part of it. I think, the energy here is real. The savviness around technology is incredible. The Indian consumer, there's definitely none as such outside of India. Like the knowledge around the tech is unbelievable, and that's where it's sort of easy for a brand launching the consumer tech space to kind of grab some level of traction.
You're saying easier, but it sounds tougher when a large part of your consumer base knows its technology, is tech savvy, as you say it, and this is across the board. There is no age, no bar. There is, rural, urban,
sure.
It's all across. People know their mobile phones. In that kind of market, I would think it's tougher.
It puts the bar high in terms of the actual user experience, product, but as a product company, if that's not your angle in terms of bringing great products to the users, I think you shouldn't even start a company. So for us, since day one, it was about making products that we would be proud to share with our friends and families. So a lot of work went into it, and I guess in this market where people know the tech, actually they realize the value of the product and have been loving our products. So far so good, I'd say.
So when you say they love your product, what about it do they love? You need to explain that to us in the context of building communities. For a brand to build a community is a very important exercise in today's context, much more in the tech universe. How have you done that? Because I understand you've done some sort of crowdfunding as well. Talk to us about that, because that in a sense seems to be creating a community of sorts.
Our whole journey is almost, has been since day one, kind of a community journey as well. Like when we started, again, it was just an idea. We wanted to try to make something different to kind of break through in the market, but we didn't even know why or what we're going to do. Early on, we got some of those kind of tech leaders, Tony Fadell, Steve Hoffman, Kevin Lin, and so on, kind of feeling the same way, saying they didn't know exactly how things were going to go. And as we're kind of progressing, we saw a lot of more people really engaged around nothing and everything we're doing. So we decided, actually early on, as we kind of did our first investment, when we raised our Series A with Google Ventures, to allocate actually part of it to the community. So we did a crowdfunding where private investors could come in so that people would kind of, the idea was that early supporters would have skin in the game. So, they won't be just kind of cheering from the sideline, but eventually having a financial uplift, hopefully once we're a multi-billion brand.
You have Indian celebrities who've got skin in the game. How important was that? Because I believe there are investors. One of them is nodding very wisely at me. There is Karan Johar. There are others, like Sabyasachi as well.
Yeah.
So tell us about the importance of doing that as a marketing exercise as well, to build a brand. And of course, you're trying to raise funds through influential people.
I think aside of the funds and kind of the support that they've been giving us, I think for us, it was more about kind of having more and more confidence on the opportunity. You have all those kind of trailblazers that in their respective domain have done so much, are driving things forward, kind of believing in nothing and believing what we're trying to achieve. I think that first and foremost was very energizing for us in the right beginning. But of course, it's very important. It's very important to have all the kind of thought leaders across different industries that kind of come in, share ideas, give ideas to us, and I think that's also the strength of Nothing. You know, we are probably in one of the biggest industries in the world, yet being very agile, being creative, being on top of the trends, trying to innovate will be sort of our core strength. So having investors from different countries, different industries, and so on has definitely been something really beneficial to us.
But since you started out in 30 markets and you took the digital route to be able to sell your products, was there a difference in the way you approached other markets? I'm seeing what you're doing in India, and you are selling through digital channels even right now. I don't know if that's likely to change, but what was the approach to Europe and US, and how is it different from what you've done in India?
I think our kind of approach has been global since day one. I think in India, again, because of the demographic, the sort of savviness around tech, we have had this kind of organic traction. But there hasn't been such a kind of focus in terms of different countries around the world. So I think it's more about, you know, us trying to, make tech fun again and having all those kind of tech-savvy, tech-enthusiast people joining our journey.
Your founder is of Swedish origin, and of course, no, he's of Chinese origin, and he's grown up in Sweden. Your company is headquartered in London. You are of mixed...
Half Greek, half French.
Yes. How much of this, and I'm looking at the kind of ecosystem that you're trying to create, which emulates something like what Apple has done. So there is a lot of this that is happening within the entire startup community and the kind of funding that you're doing as well. When you are collaborating, how does it actually work with the startup ecosystem? How is the collaboration part of it actually working?
I mean, again, it's diversity, you know, like out of this diversity, there is so much that comes across. You know, we have different people from different part of the globe heading our kind of software, hardware, design, engineering, and it's almost the best of everything coming together. Wow, that's aggressive.
Please carry on.
So coming together, and that sort of creates something very unique. You know, what we're seeing, the industry has been kind of dictated by the big players out there, and, you know, then there are all the followers doing the kind of more or less of the same. So for us, you know, bringing such a diverse team from all around the world, from different industries, different background, that's what went into the product to deliver something super unique.
I was talking to some colleagues, and just one last question. Why Nothing?
Why Nothing?
Why?
Actually, it was super... so I'm half Greek, so initially we're looking into the Greek mythology, and every time we'd find something that would work, we're looking at social media handles, it wasn't available, and so on. And actually, Carl, we're thinking about the end state of technology. And he was saying, like, wow, actually the end state is nothing, where technology is all around you, doesn't get in the way, yet kind of empowers you to do more. And it took a few days, but we're like, okay, why not try Nothing? And then we saw the Instagram handle, the Twitter handle not being registered. We sent a few emails. Within 24 hours, we had the handles, so we just went for it. That's the story.
Well, the hope is that there's a lot of nothing, right? From your point of view, to be able to grow the brand, and a lot of nothing is something that you must be aiming for. Where have you set your targets?
I think when you look at the size of the industry, again, the sky is the limit, and then you can do a lot more. We've seen that there is definitely...
But even with smaller marketing budgets, you see the size of Apple and Samsung and their
great
marketing
products.
budgets.
It's always start with the products. I think for us, that's what we've been doing since day one, and the rest kind of, it's important, but products, great products, and then a big kind of community around your products, and then the word of mouth takes off.
Well, more power to you, and good luck for all your future ventures. Thank you so much for joining us on the Global Business Summit, Akis. Pleasure having you with us.
Thank you.
Well, Vikram, you really saved the best question till the end. Why Nothing? So we just wish Mr. Evangelidis a lot of nothing in future.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much.